Welcome back. We're back. That's right. We're working on a 1968 C10 in bright white. I call it tinker time because there's a lot of little tinkering stuff that needs to get done, and I'm going to do it. Um, we're going to work on the exhaust. Here's a quick list of what we're going to do. Work on the exhaust today. We're going to tighten up these clamps and talk about wrenches real quick. I said clamps, but I meant the brake lines. They're stainless steel, so it's a good idea because mine leaked. I didn't tighten them enough, and I thought they were tight, but tighten them really good, loosen them, retighten them. Tends to mash them together, get it better. The stainless steel is just, it's tough, good stuff. Put a muffler hanger on so we can kind of get this situated. We can start on that exhaust, got a trick to show you there. And we're gonna do a little heat management on this shift electronics. I'm told you can't take them apart without breaking them, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna show you how I did it. You can give it a try. Let's start there. Get to work. Got a lot going on. I don't know if you guys are interested in that other stuff, but we got time at the end. I'll show you what's going on in the shop because there's a lot keeping me busy. This is keeping me busy too. Get you a good view of this. You know what? I'm gonna make you on the left side. It'll just be easier for me down here. You don't worry about all that garbage. Show you some of that at the end. So we're working down here. Should I get you right in there? I'm gonna try to do better videos. I know you guys get the idea of what's going on, but come on, everybody wants to see, don't you? I want to see. Don't you want to see this? This is what we're talking about right here. Get you in a little closer. So these are complicated and they're easy to break. Most, I'm told, don't do it. You'll break them every time. Well, I didn't break it. I haven't broke it yet. So what you got to do first and foremost, I pulled my zip tie off. So I have to cut that, but get this blue safety pin out of here to make sure it don't fall apart and leave you stranded on the road, whatever. They come apart so hard. Would you really need to? We're not going to have that talk. So the white part, don't take that apart. That's what holds the wire pins into the, this thing. You know me in English. So don't, you can take it apart. You can just, bug on my head. Good golly. I'm out here in the shop, got bug on my head. Sorry about that. You can crack this apart and move it. Don't do it. You can if you want. This is one of the slide lock deals. And the trick is just knowing what you're doing. Can't see you. No, there you are. You got to know what you're doing. And I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what you're doing? Did I ever tell you guys I'm not a mechanic? Yeah, you probably figured that out by now. But this connection here, make this quick in case you're not interested. But don't take apart the white part. We're looking at the gray part. So there's like a horseshoe thing that goes up from underneath and pulls it together, slide lock. They're actually pretty decent. You just got to remember, don't force it because it's cheap plastic. But you just push down on these. And I don't give it a little bump. You just push down on these, I don't know, this cutout spot. You just give it a little tap. Tappy tap tap. One more tap. Come on. Now I'm getting scared. Now, see, it goes down a little bit. There's one on both sides because it's a horseshoe. And you'll see it's trying to move backwards. So don't just keep jamming it down. Give it a little help. It just needs a little help. A little wiggle back and forth, push down on that. Dude, it's that easy. But if you don't know what you're doing, you want to pry on it, you're going to break this kind of pricey part here. All right, so that's what we got. I don't need to talk about that anymore. What I need is some nippers to cut this off. The idea, and why we're even monkeying with this, that didn't have to come apart, but it pulls away where I can wrap it better. But this is too close for my liking. The pipes get hot. And if you run a vehicle hard, which I think this one will be, these pipes get really hot. And it just makes things crunchy. We don't want, I like crunchy food, but we don't want this getting crunchy. It's not like this is doing anything. So I just got to cut that zip tie off. I think I have a pair of cutters right here. I do. And then we'll wrap that up. Move on to the next part. We're going to accomplish a lot of little stuff today. It's all got to be done. Bring you guys along. Yeah, I threw it on the floor. I'll have to pick it up later. Oh, I said later already, and I just started a video. Can't ever seem to wait. All right, you got to leave this blue safety pin out because I got to put it back. It's just wrapped around a couple of wires. I usually just push it up towards the front and put it in the crack. Yeah, I said it crack. All right. And then we're going to tape around that. When I get all done, I'm going to zip tie around that. Now, when somebody has to work on this later on someday, they're later, they're probably going to be mad. Like, who did all this taping it up? And what they really mean to say is, who did such a nice job? But it sounds like they're mad. It sounds like they're complaining, but they're not. They're really bragging you up. They just don't know it. Give that a little stretch so it kind of bites right on there. Again, remember how that went on? The slider from the bottom, which if you're under the truck on a hoist, being on the bottom is probably a lot more helpful than being on the top. We pull that blue on this side of our tape so we have room to reach. Yep, go ahead. Man. Pull your tape around to the other side of that blue thing. Kind of hold it all together. Look at it. Perfect. I think we're actually going to, why not? Let's just keep going. This is what old guys do. I could have stopped right there. Why do I need to double wrap it? Well, dirt roads, gravel. I don't know. The one thing in the world that's still cheap is electrical tape. 50 cents a roll, Gene. Yeah, I said it. Gene. If you can afford it. Gene. I know you don't know Gene. Doesn't matter. He's a cheaper guy than me. We'll just leave it at that. Speaking of Gene, while I go get a zip tie, we'll get this finished right up. I do want to mention, thank you for the new viewers. I've got 10 in the last week. For me, that's phenomenal. Look at me. Got 100 and maybe 11 subscribers. So getting 10 in a week that's exciting. And one of them, well, I think Haley Joe has been watching for a while, but she's probably my most intent viewer. I don't think she takes her eyes off the screen for a second. So thank you for watching, Haley Joe. Appreciate you coming along. Thank you, everybody else, for subscribing. I didn't get any names. What I mean is YouTube didn't give me any of your names this time, so I can't thank you by name. But again, I appreciate it. And while we're on the subject, I want to put this to the top so nobody will get scratched on it. But why'd I go there? Talking, not thinking, just wasted the dang zip tie. Come on. Glad Gene ain't watching. He'd be picking on me for wasting money. But I was smart enough to bring more than one. You guys wouldn't have to wait while I walk back over there. I'm getting smarter about this video stuff. Bear with me another year or two. I might even make good videos. Probably not. Anyhow, look like my iguana eye. Yeah, most of you don't know about that either. Hang in there. You're going to learn all these inside tricks. Okay, before I snap that back on, we want to do heat management. Now, what I'm using today for heat management is some leftover muffler wrap. I didn't bring any scissors. I sidetracked to talk about something else. That's it. Like and subscribe. There, YouTube, are you happy I said it? I know I liked my way before where you didn't have to hear it. But I guess that's what you got to do. And hit the bell and blah, blah. You get it. What did I come over here for? You guys aren't helping. Oh, scissors. Thank you. Appreciate it, Bob. I'm just kidding. I don't think I have a Bob as a subscriber. All joking aside, thanks everybody for watching and subscribing. I got lots of more fun stuff coming. Now we're just gonna guess. One wrap, we lap by half. So 2, 3, 4 times around. What do you think? What do you think? This stuff's expensive. Everything's expensive. Tired of talking about expensive. Except electrical tape. It's cheap. It's cheap, Gene. Anyhow, it's not really an inside joke. He's just a friend of mine who's cheap. So cheap he won't buy electrical tape. But he'll buy shoe goo. Man, will he ever. You can use all the shoe goo you want. I don't understand. Put this away. I don't know. I never put it away like that before, but use that cheap tape. Probably fall off before I get done with the video. No, we're not going to wrap this truck like the 1971 seat in Spanish gold. Speaking of which, truck's doing well. Got some minor updates for those of you that care. I got to think about that darn blue thing again. Like, we'll be fine. Old guy worrying again. We got too much going on. Can't talk. Can't think. 1971. Okay, so let's see. What's going on with that? Runs great. Drives great. Matter of fact, it drives better than it runs. No, that don't sound right. It drives fantastic. Rides nice, smooth. I haven't bottomed it out. Railroad tracks, dips in the road, doesn't matter. That thing has not bottomed out, not one single time. So I'm very pleased with a lowered truck. You can get away with that. I'm not going for beauty here. You're going to see in a minute what I mean. That's what I'm after. Now we're not going to leave this, but I do use this metal tape. That's just what do they call it? Duct tape like real. I don't know. It's the tape for your ductwork that you're really supposed to use because it's metal and it's high temp and blah blah blah. Why did I rip off so much and waste so much money? I don't need to do that. Let's frog around and save a half a piece of. See, I knew that was going to happen. Man, you just have to put this on here so it stays. We'll peel this back off after we put a couple of those nice fancy clamps and trim all this up. Do you guys want to watch all that? I doubt it. But I'll trim all these frays off, fiberglass. And I'll put a stainless zip tie so it'll make people mad. I probably shouldn't. Because Tom's going to have to work on this. So that's underneath. Ooh, I did it wrong. Didn't I? Now this stuff will move. I would go underneath like that. Let's just put some zip ties. It's not going to get that hot. And then if they melt and fall off, I'll feel like a dummy. All right, I'm going to put on a metal zip tie later. I said it. I'm going to do it later. But all you got to do is cram this back on there and push that thing back up from the bottom. It's enough about that. Let's move on to something else. Let's bring it to the next stage of the game. Back here on the muffler clamp time. I shouldn't say clamp. It's a hanger. Not so much a clamp. So we got this side exhaust mocked up. And I haven't finished welding it because I like to get it completely mocked up. And what we're going to do is use one of these fancy muffler hangers. These things last. And they're not really any more money than the rest of them. Oh, we're going to get that light dark thing. Let me move you over here a little bit. I do have the LED lights, but so far that hasn't been an issue. We're going to mount this right here. And then this bar you weld onto the muffler, and as you weld it, it'll get soft and you just kind of push or hammer it around. But we'll have to put this clamp here. Won't be in the way of anything. It's up high. We only have the rod coming down. The box is going to clear it, so we're in good shape there. I'll run around that side and give this a, see if I can drill on camera without screwing something up. I got more. Some of you are probably wondering why I didn't put lube on there. I have a theory, and I'll make it fast. If you put lube on there, as soon as that sharp edge comes around, it's going to scrape all that oil and throw it right out of the way. So it may oil one rotation, maybe. That's why I don't use it. Now to cool I will use it occasionally to keep the bit cool. I'll just kind of hose the whole bit down and then peck sometimes because then the oil drips in. But that's a whole other conversation. Most of the time, a slow drill with a sharp bit, fair amount of pressure. Don't wobble your drill bit around because you'll chip the edges. Try to just, even if you're on a little bit of an angle, that's no big deal. You just don't want to wobble your bit. Now I know sometimes wobbling the bit makes it cut better, and that's because it's already dull or already chipped. But a good solid, sharp bit should just be drilled through straight. There you go. You know, that ain't very thick for taking this long. But it is hard metal. Highly carbonized, as my wife would say. And she's right. You know, if I'd put some lube on there, we'd be done by now. Good gracious. I got another trick I do. I use my less powerful drill sometimes. That way when it catches, it doesn't break my wrist. So having a more powerful drill isn't necessarily better. All right, now talk. All I do is talk. Let's get that bolted on. What if I didn't talk? This would really be boring, wouldn't it? Bolt on, bolt under, bolt on top, nut on top, washer on top. We can talk about bolts and nuts all day too. That's right, Andy. There's a top and bottom to a washer. We've talked about that. The rounded side where it punch throughs on top and all the sharp edges go on the bottom. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. But it does look nicer. I don't think it holds any better. It's a thing. It's an old guy thing. I don't know. I'm still babbling. Put that right on there. You guys want me to tack weld that on real quick while you're here? I should tighten that bolt though. The reason I say that is the wrenches are right here. Excuse me. Is if you don't tighten and you start welding it and you start hammering on it and bending it and it moves, that's frustrating. So it's best not to wait till later. All right. I'm not saying it has to be super tight, but if you wait till later, you might forget. So let's just give it a grunt click. It wasn't quite a good grunt. There's what it needed, the lower one. Get this stinking wire out of here. No, I can't. I still hold them off there. Yeah, let's tack that up real quick. You guys are watching. Why not? We got everything set up. So what do you think? The settings should be on my welder. I see that on YouTube all the time. My welder has 10, 20, 30 on wire speed, so a certain amount of inches that I'm not familiar with. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4 on the power level. So I'm on one at 22, whatever any of that means to you guys. I'm not going to talk, so I'll just put my microphone down. Roll this up. It's a little cold. Let's go with 2. Wire speed 30. Oh, you probably couldn't hear me. I said that's a pretty good tack. It'll probably hold for a while. I just don't want it to fall down while I'm using it. Grab my microphone again. Put my hat back on. Now we can get that wire out of there. So when you get done welding with a spool, you empty a spool, your gun's full of wire. People have talked about you can just feed your wire behind it. I don't suggest it. You might get away with it, Gene, trying to save a penny or two. Problem is if you get it jammed up in there, it ruins it could cost you more money than you're saving. And I use this wire all the time for hanging stuff. It's pretty tough, so it doesn't get wasted. It gets used like that. So without moving you around, I'll just tell you, that's going to hold this pretty solid. Now you say, well, it's moving. Well, I haven't got it all welded together on purpose. But I'm checking to make sure there's good movement so the axle doesn't touch it. And as the truck goes down, I get more clearance in the back. If you lifted the truck, like if you jumped this, like if you really wanted to jump it, like, I don't know, San Francisco or something, you'd probably ruin the front end. So I wouldn't worry too much about this touching in the back when you jump. So that's going to hold it. Mufflers there. Got them. They're not welded together because I got a 2-piece. You got this rear piece, and you got the front piece. When you get it in, then you clamp it in the center. So you have a little bit of adjustment if you need to move things left or right. So there's the hanger. And while you're right here, Let's tighten up this line, stainless steel line. But this is kind of interesting. If you're still hanging on, well, obviously if you're listening to me, you're still there. I was a Craftsman guy as a kid. And that's when all Craftsmen, are you there? That's when all Craftsmen were made in America. Yep, made in America, USA. So when they sold out, I call it sold out. They went to, I think they call it Chinesium metal. I bought these, I don't know, Allen, but I haven't found them since. I don't know who carries them. Made in America, USA there too. But I can't find those now. So then I went to the gear wrench, and there, I mean, I got a point. I do like the gear wrench. I don't care if it's that name brand or whatever ratchet one, but the gear wrench I liked because it was shiny. I like shiny stuff. Just kidding. It has a fat head. I don't know how else to word it. The end is thicker. I can get you closer. This pays off dividends when you need it. The end is thicker. The head, right through here. And this is a good wrench, but not a good wrench, but a good wrench. But you see the end here, how narrow it is, which is fine if you're limited space. But if you put them together, you can see how much thicker the gear wrench is. Not a lot, but remember, I'm showing you a 1/2 inch and a 3/8, and the 3/8 is actually thicker than the 1/2. So even if I got a 1/2 inch, which I don't need right now, gear wrench, the head would be even fatter than this one. I'll show you more in a minute. But that gives you a little more bite, a little more material when you're trying to wrench something with an open end wrench, namely brake lines. Yep, I know. They make line wrenches. And I don't have any because I bought a set and they were junk, just like everything else these days. It's all junk. And I never found a good brand. But I watched another guy on YouTube, Farm Project, Project Farm. That guy is awesome. And he did the wrench test on the line wrenches, and there's a good brand out there. I just have to order them someday. Because I don't know where they sell them. I'm sure somebody online can give me what I want. Have everything delivered to the door. Probably a baby. I don't know. I was just saying. Probably. Now, the sizes are interesting because I thought it was a 3/8. Some of these, yeah, make me look stupid on camera. All right, that didn't work. Oh, back here, where you can't see, on the T. I'll just do it real quick. There's no sense in making you guys watch all day. I'm using the gear wrench brand. It's got the fatter head on it. And get that just too tight. I probably should go even tighter than that. But this one is not limited access. We can get to it underneath the vehicle pretty easy. I think I'm going to strip those like going tighter. That's pretty good and tight. I said it, good and tight. All right, we'll move up here to another one, and this one's a little more. I'm going to show you a little better what I'm talking about. So up on this one, I don't know if you can see up in there. Maybe in here? Maybe a little? Maybe not a lot? All right, there's a coupler. If you can zoom in, because I can't. There's a coupler because the rear line comes into the front line, and they use a double female, if I can say that. And here is my gear wrench with a big fat head. Look how thick that thing is. Way thicker than the rest of my wrenches. So it gives you a lot more bite on that coupler. And I believe, I don't know what size these are supposed to be, because these days I don't care. I don't care if it's metric or SAE. Yeah, I didn't tighten them. See, we would have been in trouble on that one. If it's supposed to be a 3/8, I don't care anymore. I'm gonna go back and forth and get the wrench that fits the best. Because I don't know what country out of the 49 countries there are 149, I don't know. Graduated high school, not college. I don't know if you can graduate. Yeah. Anyway, I don't care what size they say it is. My new rule is to get the wrench that fits the best. And this happens to be an 11. Well, I don't think I use my 11 millimeter wrench. I can't remember. I promise you, it's been well over a year ago. It might have been 5. 11 millimeters, just not something to use. But that's way too tight for a line. But the 11 fit on there really good. So it was probably a 3/8, 12. I don't know. I'm done talking about it. Get the wrench that fits it the best. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, Tom. Should have got them half size wrenches done a long time ago. Uh-oh. That didn't sound good. What'd I do? I slipped off the edge. Now I got it. Now I got it stuck in there. Yep, that's embarrassing. Now am I going to loosen it? Get it on there square again. Is that yeah? I don't know. A little more. A little more. That's plenty tight for today. If they leak, we'll tighten it when they leak. All right, that's out of the way. What else we got? I know we got more. Oh yeah, over here. More muffler stuff. I show you a trick on this. I do. Now we pick on people who don't know how to weld. I like people that don't know how to weld. I'm being facetious. So I don't know if you remember how boogery, I'm gonna call it boogers, booger weld this was. Lumps and clumps and everything was all over this. The uglier the weld, the better for you when you cut it apart. All them blobs that were on here, I just ground them down, kind of flush with the larger pipe, which would be the female. The male pipe inside, what they did is, a welder that's not real good or don't care, welds this pipe to this pipe using their weld. Bear with me. So this pipe is attached to their weld, and their weld is attached to this pipe. Can't talk. Their weld is attached to this pipe. Well, all you got to do is grind through their weld until you hit the parent metal of this one, and it should come out. When I weld it, I'm going to melt this pipe to this pipe, and my weld will just sit on top. So you won't be able to do this trick. You'd have to cut all the way through everything. You just won't be able to pull mine apart. It's better for longevity, but not for reuse. So I don't know if it's going to be loud for you. If you cut down, you can generally see the metal change. You can see some gaps where you didn't weld. I usually hammer in. Let's see, that's loose already. The other side's not. Hammer in a couple times and then go out. Looks like I got a little bit more on the back side, but I think we can get it. Oh, it's so close. Come on. I have to grind a little on the other side, but you could see just how easy that. I don't say how easy, but it's kind of easy. Don't want to wrap on it with a hammer too much. There is that sensor on there. I don't know, $65 to $3 million for those. I don't know, somewhere in the middle. Did you see that? All right. We're going to try to just tap on a little more. Hang on. A little bit right in there. Looks like you might have actually got a little penetration right in there. Just a touch. Oh, if that's loud, I'm sorry. We'll go in again. Come on. Got it so good it looked like it was coming. Well, maybe not today. Look at that. It barely went in there at all. See that gap? I can get that right out of there. Now we can reuse that pipe. Now I only do 30-minute videos. Looks like we got 1 minute. So I'll share where this is going, what we're going to do next. But thank you for coming. Thank you for watching. Next week, we're going to have a little surprise, something a little more fun than Tinker Time. But this is hot rodding. So now we got this apart. Got my bolts right there. We can attach it under here where it's easy to get to. The water isn't going to run in it. Well, it will, but it won't set in it. I'll play that game and see where I want it. There ain't going to be a good spot on this side, is there? We'll probably go right there. And then my pipe, it's laying over there. But anyway, my pipe's going to turn here. We're going to weasel through here, out the back. Probably do some of that next week. I don't think we need any heat management in here. Wires are a long way away. So that's what's coming up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. I don't want to spoil next week, but we're going to go down to the barn. We're going to see about getting the cab here. And we'll give that a look over and see what the future has for us. All right, take care. Thank you again. And we're going to see you hopefully next week. I look forward to it. All right, one time. I'm going to turn it off. There we go. One, two.